Continuing our exclusive interview series with CD2 congressional candidate Chuck Wooten, we come to the self-defense, let's say national defense question. I know you've been in the forefront, Chuck, of the effort to keep the A-10 warplane flying, but there's got to be a larger national defense picture. Could you comment on that?
I certainly can. And there is very much a greater national defense issue other than mothballing some airplanes. And that national defense issue is because of the proposal that the DoD has put on the table at this juncture in this National Defense Authorization Act for 2015 coming up. The cuts are deep and they're severe to every one of the uniformed services. Now, me with my military heritage, I always take a passionate stance on these things, only because we've been there and we've done that. And everyone that's ever served before me and everyone that's serving now, we have an interest in making sure that America remains the strongest national defense nation on the planet. We have to. We have a lot of enemies. For example, we have in this proposal, we have the Army going to be drawn down over 100,000 troops. The Air Force, another 25,000, the Marine Corps, and the Marine Corps is the smallest branch as it is, and to take more of the boots off the ground, it's just a bad call. And the Navy has had their fleets drawn down significantly under this proposal. Abrams tanks will be leaving service for the Army. So the Army gets a double.
Wait a minute. The Abrams is leaving?
Not completely, but drawn down.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they are. And that goes along with some other critical weapon systems that we have in the Tomahawk missile, for example. Absolutely proven performer. We all sat and watched them on CNN during the Gulf War, and we saw what they could do. And you couple that with the proposed drawdown of the Hellfire missile, and now it's a double whammy on our missiles. So then you talk about the A-10. The A-10 Warthog is the most unique airplane in the Air Force inventory in that it is the only airplane that has a primary mission of close air support. Without that airplane, in very real terms, our troops on the ground, and we still have them, are in grave danger. When they call for air support, they're not going to get it the way that the A-10 can deliver it. So we've got some enemies, and those enemies are real and implied. Let me give you an example. Vladimir Putin just invaded Crimea. And what did he invade Crimea with? A sovereign nation. He invaded them with tanks. The Warthog is also known as the tank killer. So Vladimir Putin is still using his tanks to take over sovereign nations. We know that he's looking at Ukraine. He's not made any it's no secret that he's looking at Ukraine. And then we have Iran, who's every day closer and closer to being a nuclear power, and they don't seem to like us very much.
Not a lot.
They don't. So with them, and then we also have North Korea. North Korea, we still, we watch them very, very closely, and just a few weeks ago, there was 250 missiles fired from North Korea into South Korea. And people don't even realize that, but it's absolutely true. And then we have these two little outfits called Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. And ladies and gentlemen, they still want us dead. All of us, every single one of us. So to take the dismantling of our military at this juncture, I will stand up as a retired Command Chief Master Sergeant, look the Department of Defense in the eye and say it's not only reckless, but it's irresponsible. Our nation deserves better. And we can find that money elsewhere in the other agencies, but they're only looking at the Department of Defense. It's a foul, and it puts the American public at danger.
Thank you, Chuck. I think that may be the most important response we've had here today, and I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
The viewers who would like to know more about the candidate can either Google CD2 Chuck Wooten or simply check out his website at wooten2014.com.